We are live, y'all. The Museum of the City of New York. The Museum of the City of New York inside NYC's history from colonial times to today. And we're going to walk you through. You see the cannons. This is starting from the third floor, and they show about the British occupying the city. Okay? 7 years under military rule. Got it in Spanish, just for y'all to see exactly what's going on. All right, cool. Let's take a walk down. Look at some of the history of New York City. Sir William Howell. Look at this. Got the artifacts. This is a stirrup. Look. Crazy. This is a small animal trap. A fork, a grape shot, and some toys. That's a grape shot right there. That right there, that little bowl. It's the map of the city. This is a pass for a ship. And this is a pass to travel between New York City and Staten Island. That's a pass that you needed to pass between New York City and between Staten Island. It's a pretty big exhibit as well. I started on the top floor and we're working our way down. It's the proclamation, right? This is a quartering case, a description of a quartering case. You got the banners. Let me show you an image of the city. Look at the images of the people. Look at this, it's crazy. Margaret Beekman Livingston. This is Margaret. Margaret looked like Mister. Now I'm gonna hold you, bro. That looked like a Mister, straight. Looked like an Indian. But he had like a feminine bop to him too. Of Sullivan's March, Eastern Seneca. Seneca was the village where that was occupied by Black people, that they got them out of there. In Seneca Village, down by Central Park, right? That's a map of Seneca Village. An actual native. The Indian of the Stockbridge tribe. The map. We could listen to something on the phone.
My name is Daniel Nimham of the Stockbridge Mohican people, and my story is being told by Bill Miller, a current and forever member of the Stockbridge Munsee tribe in Wisconsin.
That crazy. Look at this. Liz. Liz is short for Elizabeth, was an enslaved woman who has served as an informant for the revolutionaries. Her position within households made her presence appear ordinary, even invisible to those in power. Enslaved people could overhear conversations, move between spaces, and relay intelligence without arousing suspicion. This portrait was commissioned by Liz's biographer, Claire. Crazy, right? She was working like a spy because they wasn't really looking at the enslaved people as being spies, bro. Look at Liz, bro. That's crazy. Another map of Queens Village. This is a map of Queens. Crazy. Let's go inside the big spot now. Look, City of Hope, 1783. The first emancipation in 1783, New York buzzed with the tense hearings known as the Birch Trials, overseen by the British Brigadier General Samuel Birch. They decided the fate of thousands of people who had escaped enslavement and sought British protection during the war years. All right. The peace treaty negotiated by George Washington demanded the refugees be returned to slavery. But despite the empire's huge role in the African trade, the commander-in-chief, Sir Guy Carleton, refused, offering freedom to Black loyalists who could provide their wartime, improve their service in wartime. Right? Cool. Crazy, man. Look at this. Let's take it. Image of George Washington. This is a manumission of the slave. This is a register of the slaves right here, a register of the slaves. And this is a birth certificate of Hannah. That's a birth certificate right there. Look at this, guys. Okay, these are soldiers. Black soldiers were among those who served in the Continental War, and they served in the army, including these soldiers at the decisive Battle of Yorktown. Okay, cool. Trapped in slavery. This is Liz. We can hear Liz, y'all. Remember Liz, the woman I showed you in the image.
My name is Liz, short for Elizabeth, and my story is being told by Sanila Nankani. I am the same Liz who was part of the story of the spy ring in the middle of the war, when I was enslaved by Samuel Townsend, whose son Robert was a famous patriot spy. The twists and turns of the next war years were very difficult for me. I had to risk everything for a chance at freedom and depend on the promises of white people I met.
Wow. Crazy. Let's go here. This is the inspection roll book, a book of Negroes. This is the book of Negroes. It's crazy to see the history for ourselves, though, you know? Seeing the book of Negroes. The birth hearings conducted jointly by British and American commissioners granted more than 3,000 formerly enslaved loyalists passage out of New York. The greatest number went to Nova Scotia. Others went to parts of Canada and to the Caribbean or to London. So people came from New York and they ended up there. We call them people tethers, people from right here, people slaves being shipped over there, granted freedom and left. He granted 3,000 people right there. You see what I'm saying? Just calling people something. People's from right here in New York. So imagine that. Got to do the history, y'all. Think about that. Let's go. Think about what I just read you. Look at Central Park, the map of Central Park. This is the plan for Central Park. This is how they planned it. See? This is the plan. They surveyed it. This is a topographical map of Central Park. This is the plan for New York City, how they made the grid system. When they created the grid system, this is how the plan was. I did a lot of research on the grid system and how they went about planning how New York City would look and how we have our streets from A, B, C, and all of the blocks. See the map? Now we're gonna walk through a little bit. I just want to show y'all. Look like a decoration. This is the Torah. This Torah scroll belonged to the German-born merchant and loyalist veteran Alexander Zuntz. He served as president of Israel. Look, it's crazy. You have a Torah scroll. Wow. Torah scroll. That's crazy. Here we go. Images. Crazy. This is crazy, bro. I never seen nothing like this one. Straight. I've been to a lot of museums, bro. And I hope the internet don't act up with me. That's why I connected to their internet to make sure. Let me just wrap around. Let me wrap around so y'all can see. Look. The first president. There he goes. Look at a shoe. A watch. Looks like some eyeglasses. Right? And a lock of hair. A lock of George Washington's hair right there. That's his hair right there. This is Federal Hall. Look at the all-seeing eye. You know that they was Masons. This is an apron worn by George Washington. Remember, they would wear the apron with all the geometric symbols and everything. You know they were Masons, right? 33 degree. Cool. As long as you know that, I ain't missing nothing with you. Come, let's go by this table and see what's going on. And this is just one floor. I think I'm gonna come back and show y'all everything, so I don't gotta rush it, because it may close a little bit while later. This is a document. Freeman's Journal. This is a Freeman's Journal, the Anti-Federalist Freeman's Journal. This is a female federalism. Female federalism, Freeman's Journal. This is the Jones Declaration of Independence. The title page of the first edition of the Federalist Papers. Look up the Federalist Papers, and you'll know more about that. Well, let's spin through. We still got some time to see some more things. Damn, I hope somebody write in the chat and let me know if the internet has got us up out of here. I don't wanna end it. Let's go on the next side. Somebody write in the chat, let me know if we're still live, because the internet has been tweaking while we've been inside this building. Someone let me know if we're still live. If not, I have to restart the live. And I think that's what I think I'm going to do it. Better yet, I got my next phone in my pocket. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Hold on. Let me try to sign in. Let me try to sign in. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Because I know y'all can't hear me, obviously. Yo, Sakawase, I'm still live? You see me live still, Sakawase? Let me know. Let me know, because I'm about to restart it. Let me know, Sakawase. All right, cool, we lit. I was about to clip it. Cool. Okay. Cannonballs. Look, West Village of Manhattan, down by Brooklyn. This is the bombardment of New York. Gowanus, Brooklyn. Upper East Side of Manhattan. Inwood, Manhattan. White Plains. You spin through here. Look at some clothes. Just look, see it keep tweaking. Y'all just let me know if we tweaking or not. This is some clothes. Casualties of war. Got the weapons. This is how the ship looked, the maritime invasion. This is how it looked back in the days. And that's what the actual ship looked like. This is the battle that happened for New York City. This is the battle. Crazy, right? I'm gonna spin through here and we're gonna spin back and see the next side. See? The city was attacked on July to December 1776, and we know exactly what year that was, right? That's when this whole thing came together. This is a fire bucket. And this is a map of the Great Fire that happened. This is what they would use to carry water in and stuff like that. A fire bucket. It's the city of New York. Shows you all of the parts of the locations. It's showing an actual film. Oh, they gave us like a virtual depiction of how it was back in those times. The black man walking around too. This is how it was back then. Crazy, right? New Jersey, New York. Cool. I might still be able to get downstairs and show y'all something down there too. Y'all just make me know that if we still live. This is a grape shot, you know, like some little bullets, a little grape shot. A ceiling stamp, just the second thing right there. That's a bayonet. I think that's the thing they use to that put on top of the front of the weapon. You know, you put it in front of the weapon that when you can poke somebody with. It's amazing. Look at this. Baddie on go. That's a baddie on go. Not gonna hold you. That is a baddie on go. Most definitely is a baddie. That's an L cup. A bowl excavated in Inwood. They found this bowl underground. Let's go see what's going on over here so we can go downstairs. Come on. Let's spin through the block. This is the city divided 1763. Wow. Hold up. It's crazy. This is a fragment of the statue of George III. At least I got this whole floor down to all the true Whigs, independent electors of the City of Council of New York. Look, this person about to get, you already know, put up in a tree. Crazy. City was real them days. What the horse is. This is a gate, a segment of a fence created to protect the statue of George III. This was a gate, an actual segment. Oh yeah, this is the real gate too. Facts. That's the real gate, bro. This is the Battle of Bunker Hill. Make sure we still live. Now make sure we still live. Batty on go. Y'all tell me if we still live. Luxury bucket list. Y'all let me know. Make sure we still rocking. Because the internet keep acting like it's timing out. It's the Liberty pose. This is a barber from New York. Captain in the Suds. Piece of pottery. Okay, cool. Make sure I'm still live. This is objects excavated from the site of the barracks. Bottle glass, look like a number, maybe for a soldier. Look like a glass bottle, maybe hold some wine or some drink in there. The top of a teapot, right? The spout, look like the top for the teapot as well. Look at this. Got the chair and all that, the table. Look at this. That's how the tables and the chairs used to look back then. The setup. The ports. Crazy. Oh nah, I need Tom in here. Take some days in this shit, bro. Gangster. I'm glad I came here today. Wow.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, you can actually stamp it. Oh, they stamp it. You take one of these papers. Wow, you can stamp it. Trade should Colonial New Yorkers control their own economy? No. Taxes, should the New Yorkers protest higher taxes? Yes. Troops, should the New Yorkers resist paying for the protection by British troops? You should resist. And territory, should New Yorkers have the right to Western lands?
I got a barrel.
Yes, we should. That's what I figured out. You get to stamp it on. And then you press it, look it in the light. You see the press? You put it in the light. See it? Dope. Some silverware. Mug look like coffee mug. Glass bottles, some pottery. Adoniah Shiloh was a Jew. The guy that made that was a Jew. A little hat. Let me say that. Thank you. Ooh. An actual cannon. See the grid of New York City again. Wow, look at Bowling Green, like Commons, Vauxhall Gardens, Holy Ground, Trinity Church. It's a big church. I've done a video on Trinity Church. I'll go back there and show you it again. City Hall, where we was at, covering the trial. City Hall, where the Knicks parade just happened. City Hall. Merchant's Coffee House. This is Broadway, which is a big street in the grid. Bowling Green, right? Bowling Green. Kind of the area where I just went to that festival, that Sweden festival on my channel. Okay, this was the riots in New York, right? Cool. So we might have a chance to make it downstairs too. This is Becoming a Revolutionary. Let's listen to what they say.
My name is Charity Clark, and my story is being told by Frankie Corzo. I live in the neighborhood known today as Chelsea,
You live in
which
Chelsea.
was named after the beautiful home in the countryside north of New York City where I grew up, a house that my father had named Chelsea Manor. By the time I was a teenager, New York was being rocked by politics. I was always loyal to the king and thought of myself as a true Englishwoman.
See what I'm saying? The king was running it, bro, still. Imagine that. A powder horn. Looked like a creamer. That's the creamer in the coffee pot. A Book of Common Prayers. Crazy. All right, cool. We might get a chance to go downstairs, at least one floor. But I'm gonna spin back through here. You bugging. This is dope. I don't know what the internet gonna be like, y'all. Hopefully the internet holds up. We're gonna see. We shall see. Real people love history, bro. Let's go through here. Two. Yep. Whoa. It's big. It's big, y'all. Let's just take a spin down here and see what's going on, all right? Most likely it wraps around. What shot should I start from anyway? It goes around the circle? This goes around the circle? No?
No, it's just another exhibit.
Okay, cool. Let me just go check that out real quick. Let's check this out real quick. Oh, exhibit through here. Let's just make a spin through. Oh, okay, music, history. Some musical history. See them getting it in, right? Tito Puente. They named the street after Tito Puente, you know. That's 110th Street. Look, Hector Lavoe. Y'all know Hector Lavoe. Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony played him in the movie. Conte. Oh, the music. I gotta go. Hold up, mute. I gotta go. Where they come from with the music out of nowhere, bro? They trying to hate. Oh, they hating. Let me move, bro. Wow. I know I just went in the elevator, so I don't know. How am I looking, y'all? How am I looking? I just went in the elevator. I'm streaming this on StreamYard as well, not just on my regular YouTube. I'm also connected to their Wi-Fi, so let me know how I'm looking. How is it looking? Because if not, I will log off their Wi-Fi. I don't need it. But certain spots, when I go deep into the museum, it might start to wow up the internet. Okay, we good? Good. Cool, let's go through here then. Let's see what's going on. It's the natives and the immigrants. George Washington and them. Liberty, but look at the eye up there. You see the eye on top of her head? Crazy. They stay with that eye, homie. Eye coming out of nowhere, too. Look, debating vice, the anti-obscenity, and the birth control movements from 1870 to 1930. 1914, Margaret Sanger coins the term birth control. This is her, Margaret Sanger. Okay? So some of us online being a Margaret Sanger right now. Think about that. Years later, she opens the country's first birth control center clinic in Brooklyn, and authorities shut it down after 10 days. So look, Emma Goldman and others are arrested for speaking publicly on birth control and contraceptions in Union Square. That's 14th Street, Union Square. That's in 1916. This what happened there. She was arrested. Emma Goldman was addressing the crowd about birth control, right? Now, in 1919, this person right here, Mary Ware Dennett, establishes Voluntary Parenthood League, an offshoot of the National Birth Control League, right? 1921, Margaret Sanger and them, okay? Margaret Sanger establishes the American Birth Control League, which becomes the Planned Parenthood Federation of America in 1942. It started in 1921. It became Planned Parenthood in 1942. Look at the history of New York City, bro. This is real deal right here, okay? Look at this. The United States versus Dennett rules that the Comstock laws should not interfere with scientific sex instructions. Crazy. That's them out there. You see what I'm saying? Gotta do history, bro. I don't be wanting to know no history. Gotta do history sometimes, bro. It's crazy. I didn't know the exact dates with Margaret Sanger and Emma Goldman and Mary Ware Dennett. There was a whole case that happened. Okay, frauds exposed. Police in the nightsticks. Frauds exposed was the Comstock frauds exposed. Crazy. Let's spin through. We might can make it to the next floor too as well. We might can make it through. Let's just spin through. Some black people. Hold up. Let's see what's going on. The housing activism, rent strikes, and tenant mobilizations of 1908 to 1939. Cancel the rent. You see what's going on back then, what it was looking like. Fight and speed up the system. People was out there protesting, getting it in. This is the East Side rent strike uptown. Look at how they was living, bro. Stress, bro. In a shack. Look at the boots, bro. Different times, bro. Sometimes we gotta be happy we born in another time, bro. It was rough. Our great grandparents, all them people had it rough, bro. This is the rent strike. Goes down the rent strike. NYCHA, the first public housing agency in the country, is created, which created all those projects in New York City, 1934. Citywide Tenants Council was founded, 1936. Look at that, crazy. Oh wow, the Alliance is for the Laundrymen, the Organizing and Chinese Exclusion in Chinatown, 1933 to 1952. Chinese Exclusion Acts. Civil War in China began between KMT nationalists led by Chiang Kai-shek and the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, led by Mao Zedong, begin splitting the allegiances of Chinese New Yorkers. Mao Zedong. Crazy. You know, the Chinese came to build the American rail system. So they were important to American history as well, you know? Besides us as black people that did a lot of that work, they came through and helped build the rail system. There's some Chinese papers, some Chinese man on there. He was getting to it, a Chinese couple. Cool. Garment workers. They were striking, shirt waist workers strike in 1909. The revolt of 60,000 cloak makers strike last 8 weeks. Fire at the Triangle Waste Company. They show you the fire that happened there. The creation of the Garment District in Midtown Manhattan in 1920. Crazy. Women, use your vote. Vote, Queen. That's what she's saying on that. We shall not be moved. New York and the civil rights. This is the civil rights movement. Look, Jim Crow must go. Right? 1947, former Army Captain Joseph R. Darcy and 2 other African-American veterans sued to obtain apartments in the new whites-only Stuyvesant Town housing project on Manhattan's Lower East Side. Although their lawsuits were not successful, their case symbolized a new era in the civil rights activism in New York City. Look at this, stopping the police. Look, President Johnson must go. Look, Apollo, Emancipation March on Washington. Yeah, Art Blakely. Who else was there? Bill Eckstein, Cozy Cole, sorry. Paul Newman and Sidney Poitier and Joanne Woodard. You already know. It was lit. See, these stars in person was there to support this, bro. It's crazy. Sidney Poitier, Paul Newman, and Joanne Woodard. You know he ended up marrying her. That was his shorty, whatever the case. Joanne Woodard, I think he ended up marrying her, right? Paul Newman married Joanne Woodard. Even though he was with a lot of women, but he married her. Look at that. Jim Crow housing originates here. Look, we got white people out there. Look at Mr. X. This is the Stuyvesant Town typical apartment floor plans of the Stuyvesant apartments that those 2 guys in the Army was trying to sue for, and they lost. And it said it's helped start some of the civil rights era. Look, who was rumored? Probably. Look, school boycott of 1964. This is a flyer. Check your schools. And this is Ella Baker with the girls at the NAACP fair. Emma Baker at the NAACP fair. You see your man. You remember those civil rights. Remember those students that was taken and they was all unalived. Those 3. Study the history on them. Right? They was working with civil rights. I think there was it the Rainbow Coalition as well? Forget. But they were taken and all brutally assaulted and unalived. Right? Crazy, bro. We shall not be moved. Civil rights established 1909. NAACP, colored people, founded in New York City, 1909. 1943, Benjamin J. Davis elected to the city council to fill the seat of Adam Clayton Powell Jr., which is a big street in Manhattan, who becomes the first African-American New Yorker elected to Congress. 1947, Dorsey et al. Sued Stuyvesant Town after the 1943 announcement that it would not be open to Black families. Remember that 2 Black Army soldiers that went to sue, right? Okay, 1950, New York State then and New York City passed fair housing laws to ban discrimination in publicly assisted housing. That was only for white people at one point, public assistance. When we see everybody running on public assistance, right? It was meant for white people. So we could start an argument about it, but that's a fact. 2 years after Brown versus Board Education, decision orders integration of schools, an NAACP schools workshop formed to integrate New York City schools. 1963. Harlem resident Baynard Rustin organizes the March on Washington. 1964, school boycott. The New York City public school boycott police shootings of African American teenager results in a 6-day Harlem riot. 1968, the teacher strike over community control experiment in Ocean Hill in Brownsville, Brooklyn. This is after the Vietnam War. Vietnamese troops. Hard hat riot near Wall Street. You know, Wall Street and near Chambers Street. Chambers Street is where slaves was held. That's why they call it Chambers Street, right? You know that, right? Chambers Street, where I was just at covering the Knick game. I was on Chambers Street. Yeah, do the history on Chambers and Wall Street. I can even show you some of those two things. I'm gonna show you some of that history too as well. I'm gonna go down to those blocks and show you about a street that nobody really knows about. I just read a lot of books on the history of New York City and how it was for, you know, Black people and how was it in the slave time. That's how I found out about Chambers Street, and I found out about Wall Street and how slaves was held there and stuff like that. When you came right off the docks, this is where you was being held as a slave, bro, waiting to be sold or something else, whatever you was waiting for, you know? Crazy though. This is the LGBTQ. You know what I mean? Everybody a part of the history, bro. The women's liberation movement in New York City from 1960 to 1982. Women's liberation in New York. Boom. 1917. New York women win the right to vote. The 19th Amendment enfranchises women nationally 3 years later, but certain state and federal laws block many women of color from the polls still. 1960. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, approves the first oral contraceptive, N-word. 1963, the President's Commissions of the Statues of Women, led by Eleanor Roosevelt, releases its first report. Congress passes the Civil Rights Act the next year, which prohibits discrimination in employment based on race, color, national origin, religion, and sex, right? 1966, the National Organization for Women was founded. 1970, the Women's Equality Day March in New York City. In 1970, 1973, the Supreme Court establishes the right to abortion in Roe versus Wade in 1973. See? 1982, Equal Rights Amendments fails to be ratified. And in 2017, the Women's March in Washington, D.C., New York City, and across the whole entire country. Power to all oppressed people, the young lords in New York, Puerto Ricans. Look. Young lords, Spanish, Black people. It's the Spanish, right? Disability rights. Cool, we may be able to make it to the next side. Cool. Let's go to the next side. Stan Wiffles, look at the march, look at that. All the artwork. Cool, let's make it to the next side, see if we can do that at least. Make sure you let me know I'm still live, y'all. Make sure you let me know I'm still live. The steps, wrap around steps. See if we can see this real quick. Wow, this is good history, bro. I'm gonna come back in here and just do a whole video. Just take my whole day and just come do a video on all. Oh, let's go in here. Let's see. Okay, cool. Luxury, I appreciate you. So all of this, Abraham August, Champagner. So all of this clown business. Bon Voyage shot at Alice. This is Alice in Wonderland. What the hell? But it's like in New York City. A good ship, the Normandy, warped out of the dock by tugboats, gets underway. Off with her head, shouted the queen. Then we can proceed with the croquet, but said the king, there is hardly room for marbles. But they wanted to destroy the Statue of Liberty or something? You know, the Statue of Liberty was a gift from France. The hell is this about? I gotta really understand what this whole exhibit is about because it's explaining something to us, but it's using like folk like a tale. And so they hopped a plane and headed down the East River, and they came upon the Manhattan and Brooklyn bridges and were spellbound by the wonder of it all when they created the Manhattan and the Brooklyn Bridge. Is that the Empire? See all the artwork, right? Yeah. I don't know. I got to figure out what the hell's going on with this. The Mad Hatter, where he at? Look like he down by like City Hall. Cool. We're gonna try to make it downstairs to the first floor. See what's down there, because I seen something down there. Let's just see what's going on, man. Born Abram, he was a little hat. Search was in Russia, Poland too. Little hat people, parents. Okay. Arrived at Ellis Island in 1905. After high school, he studied at the Art Students League in 1918. He became a charter member of the Whitney Studio Club and the predecessor of the Whitney Museum of the American Art as part of cohorts that included Stuart Davis, Thomas Hart Benton, and Alexander Calder, a prolific muralist. He created works for sites ranging from the Breakers Hotel in Palm Beach. What else did he create? What else did he help create? He was an artist. Cool. Got you, bro. Got you, bro. We paid some love to you. We gotta kick rocks, bro. We gotta kick rocks. All right, cool. Let's see if we can go downstairs and see the last floor. Let's see what's down there. Dope. I am gonna be also showing y'all the Banksy art art museum as well. So I'm going to be going to the Banksy Art Museum as well. So many different museums in New York. I still got to show y'all the Guggenheim. I still got to show y'all a few others that I have to show y'all still. So I'm going to be most definitely showing y'all that. I'm going to show you Banksy. Banksy is one of the next ones that I want to show y'all. I'm glad I was able to get this one out the way today. Okay, I'm glad I was able to get this one out the way today. Glad I was able to. All right. Let's see what's going on down here. Okay, it's just a display down there. Oh, excuse me. Wow, come on. That's this other side of the chandelier. Let's just go down here. He was right about telling me to start from 3 and work my way down. Ooh. Oh, that's dope, bruh. But why they don't make us be able to walk around it? That's so corny. Look at Coney Island. Look at all the projects in Coney Island, bro. Look at the projects, bruh. Oh my God, this Breezy Point. That's the Rockaway Queens over here. Oh, that's amazing, bro. I can't even hold you, son. This is vast, but you gotta make us be able to walk around it to see this in detail. What the heck? What? They go to Verrazano Bridge. Verrazano, look at it. Entire map of the city, bro. Oh my God, bro. Now I gotta do a video on this. I'm coming back here just to do a video on this specifically. Staten Island. The layout of the whole city, New Jersey. Greenwich Village, NYU, Battery Park, look at downtown Manhattan. Freedom Tower. Look what the what's this? The binoculars. Oh shit. Hold up. Hold up. Oh, they got the binoculars, bro. I wish I could see through the binoculars, bro. Crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, you gotta look far on it, like through the binoculars. You gotta look through binoculars to see it. They don't want us to touch it. That's crazy. But damn, Brooklyn way over there, bro. I want to see Brooklyn. You know, I'm from Brooklyn, bro. What up? Y'all foul. That's Soho right here. Oh, that's Midtown Manhattan. That little structures in the middle is Midtown Manhattan. Damn. That's crazy, bro. This is crazy. Map of the whole city. A 3-dimensional map, 3D map of the city. Crazy. That's fire. And this shows us it too, right here on the projector. The map of the city and how they built it. See? See? Each of the, like, see? The new buildings, the trade centers. Now, this is a dope museum, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you. And I was just speaking with the new running attorney general. She just interviewed me, so she's gonna have me in her piece that she just put together. She's gonna publish it as well. She gave me her contact information, so I'm gonna go about speaking to her as well. She's running general, and someone just ran and won. I think her name is Daralitza. She just ran and won, but she was talking to me and she said, "Do you support her?" I said, "I've been hearing different things. I even was in New York City, moving around the city, and there was a few watch parties. But the crazy thing about it is that she wants to get all police and all of that out the city. You know, they was talking about defund. She's talking about get police out of the city. Bro, I came from the other side of that thing. But if you took all the police out of here, bro, it's nasty work. The mapping of the city. Ooh. Let's see, bro. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on. I know it's a little dark, y'all. I gotta bear with me. Yeah, I'm gonna come back here with my Osmo Pocket, and I'm gonna film this whole thing. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm just gonna film it all. That's it. I'm live, so I'm just talking with y'all. So a conch shell. These are conch shells coming off the harbor. Some pottery. Looks like a pen. That's a pen. Looks like a pen. Looks like a pen. A coat of arms. Dutch trading colony. Oh, so you know we're gonna get to some stuff then. If we're 18 something, this is 1664 to 1775. It was rough for us, bro. These days was rough. African New Yorkers, look, corn cob, leather pouch fragment, baby shoe. It's a baby shoe. A goat's pelvis. This is a goat's pelvis. And oyster shells. That's the oyster shell. That's a goat's pelvis. See the little house. This is a person, John. Look, boom. And this is a leather pouch fragment. This is a leather pouch fragment. And those are corn cobs that they have here. Wow, see? Boom. In 1740, 1 in every 5 New Yorkers was an enslaved African or African American, making New York the second largest slave-holding city in the colonies after Charleston. Some had come via the tortuous transatlantic middle passage on the slave ships. Others were transported from the Caribbean, and still others were born in the American colonies. Some managed to sustain West African spiritual traditions, even though as they joined the city's Protestant churches, a small population of freed people struggled to hold onto their land, granted under the Dutch, but conflicts also boiled over as the English tightened regulations on slave behavior. Anger rose. In 1712, dozens of enslaved New Yorkers staged a rebellion. In 1741, local officials blamed a series of fires on a supposed slave plot And in both cases, white New Yorkers punished the slaves very brutally. Crazy. This is the craftsmanship. You know what I'm saying? It's history, bro. New York is a part of it. You might think that a lot of people is running to be in the North because the North was a little bit different than the South. But bro, this was heavy for us, bro. This was all very heavy for us, bro. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy, not from the South to the North. You see what they're talking about, what we went through right there, right? It was going down, bro. You had to start a riot, bro, and get it popping. It's not a joke, bro. So people wasn't just getting busy in the Caribbean. All you hear about the Caribbean story, people revolting, people in Jamaica rising up against the sugarcane plantations. You hear about the Haitian Revolution. They started going in. You hear about all that, but you don't really get to hear about what was happening here in America, bro. People voting maybe from the South to the North, getting it popping, bro. You know what I'm saying? You heard about like Nat Turner's and stuff like that. You know, the Nat Turner little revolution only lasted for a couple of days, actually. But then he escaped, and on October 30th, he was unalived 30 days later. So he didn't even make it that long, but he did escape. But the whole revolution lasted a couple of days only when Nat Turner. 30 days later, he was out of here, brother. That's a fact. So we're not even gonna get into that. Whose hair is this? This is a Hatchel and Flax from Brooklyn, a winter scene in Brooklyn, New York, and the manumission for the release of slave cattle. In 1799, New York State enacted a gradual emancipation law that promised to end slavery in 1827. Wow, you know that's crazy. Many slave owners began to free their remaining slave. Nicholas Wyckoff, that's Wyckoff Project, Wyckoff the area of Jamaica, Queens, freed his slaves named Cato in 1812. As this official form attests, by 1820, 2,600 slaves remained in New York City area, while the free Black population had grown to 15,000 people. Real talk. It's crazy, bro. It's real talk. Everybody subscribe to On Go, man. This is the type of stuff we do, man. This is what we do. This is what we do. What's that? Wow. Let's spin through here. Wow. A new urban world. Look at the Black man in the middle dancing, shucking and jiving, bro. That's all you could do, bro. Kind of like the angry man. Shucking and jiving, bro. So all we could do is shuck. If you ain't shucking and jiving, you ain't doing your thing. You ain't thriving. Damn sure ain't surviving, bro. Come on, bro. Kicking in the backs of our own people all the time. Swear. Swear, bro. We need to come to our defense of each other, bro. That's what we need to be doing. Straight up, bro. You know, I ain't never lied, so. You'll never see these people do nothing. You'll never see these people ever come outside, show us any history, do anything, talk about real stuff, show us the history in a country town where they live in. They never do. They'll just sit online and talk all day. They'll sit behind a desk with toys behind them. I got time for that stuff. So I'm a grown man, but I look like with toys around me. I left toys alone as a little kid, bro. Long time ago. Harper's Weekly. Wow. Actual magazine. Wow. There's so much more to show y'all in this museum. Look at the shoes. See that? Word, bro. If we wasn't shucking, we damn sure wasn't jiving, bro. Straight. Sad. Pardon me, bro. Wow. Wow. Scouring powder. Chinese newspaper. The little hats. Some scouring powder. The old train system. Look at the old trains used to run on them same tracks. That's crazy. Burlesque dances. Look, the New American Museum. They was promoting it. See, New American Museum promoting that. Coney Island. Like the tickets, first place. Steeplechase. You know, the thing that you used to climb up and do the parachute jump. That's the park tickets. That was the park tickets. That's how the tickets used to look for Coney Island. Crazy. They had a theater in Coney Island back then. Dope. Dope, dope, dope. What's this? An anchor looked like something to a boat. Tools in the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, actually. Wow. Tools that was used to, oh, yep, now I see it. The pulleys. Look at the big boats. Constructing of the Brooklyn Bridge. Mock-ups of the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. I'm right through it. Wow. Dope, bro. Dope. What could I say, man? What could I say to you? This is dope. This is dope. This is dope. Wow. Appreciate you, brother. Wow. All of that with y'all, bro. I had to make a move to let y'all see some of that. Do I come out through here? Yo, that was amazing. That was dope. Thank you, buddy. I'll be back. Great. I'll be back. What? I'll be back. Famous words of honor. Famous words of honor. Have a good one, brother. Famous words of honor, brother. I'll be back. Dumb or you dumb. I'm back. What? Thank you so much, Queen. I appreciate you. Appreciate you, Queen, so much. Oh, I follow. Yo. That was dope, y'all. That was dope. You see the signs, you see what's going on. Central Park right behind us. Goes to show you what it's looking like on the scene behind us. It's real, okay? I'm gonna also do a video on this. Just going through and try to catch each exhibit, you know, with my other camera, with my Osmo Pocket, catch it clear, clean. Maybe you can see everything clear and clean. Hopefully you were able to see everything that I just saw. Hopefully some of this history that I showed you connect with you, whether you're Black, whether you're white, whether you're Asian, whether you're Latino. We see many history for everybody, whether you're a little hat person. There's history there for everybody inside this museum, and it shows you how New York was such of a melting pot. But even a lot of time we hear a lot of the history of slavery and slaves in the South, but we didn't know. I thought it was more freer like that. You know what I mean? We would think it's more freer in New York City, right? But we've seen so much different history that happened here in New York City. We also seen that like 3,000 slaves, people that were working with, if you could prove that you were working with the armies and stuff like that, they allowed some people to go to Nova Scotia. Some people went to the Caribbean. Some people went to Canada. Some people went to other places as well. But they were from right here in America. But we sitting online and calling this one each other and that one each other. Bro, it's all mixed up. We are all mixed up in a one melting pot. To me, anybody that don't want to help push forward what we got going here is the problem. And maybe those people are an issue. But I don't really think it's about really where some people are from. You know what I mean? It's not about getting your own, you know what I mean, some payouts and stuff like that. A lot of people won't get payouts and they don't deserve it because you don't trace your lineage back how much ever years. I get that part of it as well. But it just shows you that we're going to have to be together to really change anything and make a change. We're going to have to work together somehow, some way. We're going to have to work together. Period, point blank, man. You know what I mean? So you see the history here for yourself. I love y'all all. I hope y'all enjoyed this whole trip. Uda, Uda, Uda. Always on go, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, go drop likes on my other videos. You already know the vibe, man. I appreciate y'all all.